Why they reverted back to a traditional name that they had known because at one point the Dahomey was a part of the Benin Kingdom. So yeah, but I was in Benin City, which was the headquarters of the Benin Kingdom
Okay, but this is in Nigeria.
in Nigeria.
Okay, so at what point did you decide I need to put all of this down in writing? I need to write a book.
Yeah, well, when I got over to Nigeria, I found it so different from the stereotypes. I mean, I had some brothers telling me when you get there, it's going to be just like America because it's westernized.
Right.
I had other folks telling me that it was going to be a very wild ride.
Right.
And of course, we had the white media saying if you go over there, you won't make it out alive. So I had all these different factors being pumped into me.
Okay.
But when I got there, I found it much different than any of those three expectations. In
Right.
fact, I found a modern organized society with street lights, with traffic jams, with, brothers and sisters running things, with our people being in a position where even if there were Europeans in the country, the most commanding sight you would see walking up and down any street is the black skins of millions of Africans. And so when I saw that and saw how much hospitality I received as a black man from the West, how much hospitality I received, whether people knew it or not, consciously and unconsciously, then I said I had to write a book to kind of bridge the myths that we have in America to the reality that I saw while I was in Nigeria.
Okay, so you experience what most of us experience when we go there. You end up hearing one thing, you get there, and you end up seeing a positive, influential situation that somebody probably doesn't want us to know about, because if we knew about it, more of us would probably go.
Go over there.
And so you decided,
I got to write a book about it. I got to tell a story because, again, one of the, Obasanjo, who's the president now, was the president when I arrived there, strangely enough. But he had a statement, every government announcement we said would be prefaced with, we want to make blacks wherever they are proud of our efforts. And I said, when you arrive in a country and you hear that's the first government announcement, then you say, well, now this is not going to be that bad.
True
As
indeed.
a matter of fact, it was real good.
True indeed. So you entitled it Journey to the Motherland. How do we get this off the ground? I mean, where did you start?
Well, of course, I wrote the book and sent it to all the big white publishers and got it sent back. And they all said the same thing. We're not interested in this type of book.
Okay.
And I understand that a lot of the conclusions don't fit the popular American stereotypes.
Right.
As a matter of fact, it's meant to tear those stereotypes up.
Right.
So that's why after they kept sending it back, I, first self-published a book in '82 on my own, and then over the next 15 or 16 years, I added more reflections, added more to it, and I hooked up with Brother Itabari down in Los Angeles, who's the head of the Amin Rod Theological Seminary Press. They're publishing the book, and so now we're on not only with this first book, but also with the second book coming forward.
Okay. So what type of book are we talking about that this man doesn't want us to know about?
Well, the information is this. When we go to our homeland, instead of us seeing unorganized chaos and craziness and people killing each other, and those are the kind of situations they tend to pump, where there's civil disobedience or civil discord or a national disagreement. But they don't seem to think it's very important to show an organized black country where all the services work for the most part, where people are happy, where people are well fed, where stores are full of food, the markets are full of food. Good news is hard to sell sometimes, but the good news about our motherland we need to have, because a lot of us think that we're from nothing and we come from nothing because they think our motherland is so far down. And so we need to know that there are more Mercedes-Benz in Benin City than there are in San Francisco. We need to know that our people over there are on all the billboards and on all the money, and that our people have a very good living situation and they're proud. Houses are made of brick, can withstand the monsoon rains, and I mean, people have a good time over there, especially if you get invited to one of those Nigerian parties over there.
Oh, there you go.
Very nice, very nice.
So, speaking on that, my experiences when I got there is everyone that I ran into either invited me to the house, or if they were from another country, they invited me to come and visit them so that I could see the hospitality, and not just in this one country, but in the next country it was the same, or as far as they were concerned, it was better.
Yeah. Well, you see, this is the thing. It's called African hospitality, and it's laid on you from the minute you get there. I mean, I had to turn away food, and it's not polite to turn away food, but folks are very hospitable. They're very happy to see anybody that comes from the West, but they are particularly happy to see African Americans come from the West because they want us to know They don't have to swing from trees to get from corner to corner, that they can drive in their cars. They want us to know they have their color TV and their FM radio stations as well as AM radio stations, that they have their television stations, that they have their freedom. They have the right to vote in their country, and they have a right to be treated pretty well. And a lot of us think, well, gosh, if I go over there, they're not going to like me, or, they're going to look at me funny. And nothing could be funny, nothing could be further from the truth, because I do remember being there, not having a correct visa for whatever reason, and it just never became a problem. I mean, when I did go into the immigration office, which I talk about in front of the book, and told a guy in '79 that I wanted to get my status regularized so I can make a visit back to the USA. His thought to me was, well, wait a minute, this is 2 years later. You should have gotten this taken care of 2 years ago. So I've been in the country 2 years just kicking and enjoying myself, and it wasn't a problem. So I think that the African hospitality that I saw is the same kind of hospitality that you or any other brother or sister from the U.S. would see if they go to our motherland.
Now, Larry, I'm glad that you touched on that, because one of the misconceptions, I've never been to Africa, but I have gone to Jamaica. So seeing all the black people in power, running things, everywhere, that really made me happy. But I did have this concern, because they were saying that in regards to African Americans going back to Africa, that we're not really accepted. This is what they were saying, like they really don't want us to come there because we really don't belong, because it was so far removed, it was so long ago. So with you saying that they were very hospitable, that makes me happy, because that's not what I was told.
Right, and it's not what I was told growing up as a kid. But I am very happy I saw for myself, because there were so many random encounters with people where they would say, oh, but you have an accent. Where are you from? And I said, well, I'm from California. First of all, they get dazed and say California, But after they finish with that, then they say, well, okay, let me invite you to my house, or, let's go for a beer, or let me buy a drink for you, because I want to talk to you about how we Nigerians feel about you African Americans. Right. Apparently, they've been waiting to tell somebody for a long time that they missed the brothers and sisters that were taken away. Right. And so that was what I would always hear. And then, treatment would follow. Okay. In that way, big time hospitality.
Yeah, that was the experience that I got too. Is that everybody had a story, and you could tell that they had been waiting a long time to share that story with you. Right. Yeah. So when they finally got you, that's why everybody invited you to the house, and let's sit down and talk. We want to make sure. And then one of the things that, speaking on what Feeva was talking about, one of the things that I experienced was that everybody wanted to make sure that I knew that they missed us. Yes. And that they felt bad about the history, and that they wanted us there. That's right. And they wanted to make sure that we knew it. And they wanted to make sure that I came back and shared that with everyone. Exactly. And I found that very interesting, because they really pushed the issue of go back home and tell your family what it was like. Make sure they come and see us. You're welcome. Did you get it? I mean, did you get a lot of that?
Brother, I got that 1,000,000%. Yeah. I got it just like that. As a matter of fact, I was on Nigerian television at least 10 times, for various reasons. Once to compare the Nigerian and American presidential constitution, but many more times after that, because they wanted to know what our opinions are, how we feel about the politics, about the primary and presidential elections. They really want to know about all aspects of us. And if you walk down the streets of Lagos, you're going to hear one of three types of music. You're either going to hear Afrobeat of the fella variety, or you're going to hear Dillinger, or, I-Roy, U-Roy, Bob Marley, and probably I could imagine now even some of the more updated artists, or you're going to hear soul music. And I mean, they have this competition between the record stores and the CD stores where they're playing it loud. So as you drive down the street, you just take in all that flavor, and you enjoy that flavor,
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me. I just opened up the book, and I'm at the table of contents, and I just wanna throw a couple of things at you and just get a little feedback. I'm looking down the page, and two of the things that hit me first is, of course, there's a title here where it says "The Day They Lied." Right. That one hit me. Okay. And then I'm gonna just give you both, and then we'll run with it. And then the other one that hit me was where it says there's a title, Arrival at the Crossroads. Okay, fantastic. Touch base with that. Okay, the first one, The Day They Lied, goes back to 1967. I was a young African-American in 11th grade, president of BSU. We've been told we could have a rally for Malcolm X, and all of the brothers and sisters were down with it. They was all ready for it and, ready for it to happen. And then on the day
February 27th, on that fateful day, the principal said, we couldn't do it. And all hell broke loose in the school. And, of course, that was Balboa High School, San Francisco, 1967, 68. And, of course, I ended up getting, nearly put out of school. But we made a point that day that, you don't lie to us once you've told us we could do it and we've got ourselves prepared, then we're going to go on through with it. In fact, some brothers broke the doors of the auditorium open and a rally for Malcolm X occurred, whether the school authorities wanted it or not. Yeah. And arrival at the crossroads, that was when I arrived at in Benin City. And Benin City is a crossroads because it's like a juncture of integration in the giant black nation. Within Benin or the environs in Bendel State, you have the Ichikiris to the south and the Robos, two huge African communities. To the east, you have the Igbos, and you also to the south have the Ijaws. To the north, you have the Ora people. You also have Itsako people, and to the northwest, you have Yoruba people, Akoko Edo people. So Benin City tended to be a very big junction of integration. You had all these different types of brothers and sisters there, and that's why most of the people spoke broken English because that was like a lingua franca.
Right,
everybody could understand that, and everybody knows who's been to Nigeria that Benin broken is like one of the most down broken English that you can speak out of the ones you can speak in Nigeria.
Feeva, that's what Hogan comes at you with, right?
No, huh?
Yeah. So I wanted to read this poem called "Feeling Good in Africa" because it was one of those good days, in the motherland. And, I just got, the pen just had its own movement, and I tried to follow it.
Okay.
Family, we are forever. We survive any weather. In our people's land, home of the black man. My friend Pat Finn brought the drink. I'm free. I can think. I'm feeling good in Africa. So good in Africa. In black Africa, my people's Africa. Where sisters do what is good and brothers carve from black wood. Here we are in Africa, black people's Africa. Where a black government is the master of development, many she-goats and rams, and afternoon traffic jams. Don't ask for me in old Frisco. If you're cool, you will know. I'm feeling good in Africa, so good in Africa. In black Africa, my people's Africa.
I'm glad you did that because my next question kind of rolls on into that. In the contents, you have, for example, we'll talk about this first title. It says Feeling Good in Africa, and you have poem next to it. Then underneath that, you have Feeling Good in Africa again. Is the first part a poem and the second part a story? Or, do you have poems and stories? Or how
Yes,
does this break down?
exactly. And that's exactly what it is. This book is a book of poems, but it's also an autobiographical novel.
Okay.
So you have the novel telling the story of a young black man growing up in San Francisco, going through the political turmoil of the late 60s, getting his degree, going through the turmoil of trying to get that first job or that good job or that corporate job, being spurned in so many ways by the corporations, not only by the way I was treated, but by the way I saw other African Americans being treated, and making up my mind, hey, I got to have something different than this, and I'm going to check out my motherland, And my late wife told me, she said, you would always find plenty of dignity in the motherland as a black man. You'll never have your dignity challenged. And on that one, I'll say she was 100% correct.
Great.
But it's amazing, that so many of us don't get the opportunity to take advantage of this situation. And I'm very grateful for everyone that has ever had the opportunity to do it and come back and share in some way, shape, or form, especially in the form of a book, video, or in whatever means they may. So we definitely appreciate you doing this. Now you have, you're going to be somewhere. You're going to be somewhere today, right?
Yes, I'm going to be appearing at Marcus Books for a book presentation and autographing session. That'll begin at 6:30 today. That's at 1712 Fillmore Street. Marcus Books over there with Karen. And that's Fillmore at Post Street. So I hope to see a lot of you there so that you can get an autographed copy of the book so we can kick it and exchange ideas and thoughts. And I'd also like everybody to know that by the 1st of December, I'll be receiving my second book, History to Destiny Through Afrocentric Poetry, which is a compilation of 31 years of poems that I've kind of managed to keep, and I've put it together. It's already at the printers. I'll have it back on December 1st. So that History to Destiny Through Afrocentric Poetry is coming, and tonight I want to celebrate the journey to the motherland at Marcus Books, a historic Marcus Books, our oldest black bookstore. And in order to get that off to the right start, I wanted to read this one last poem for Chinwe.
Go right ahead.
Chinwe, of course, was my late wife. She was a Nigerian, and she accompanied me to Nigeria. Chinwe was tall, plump, and sweet. When I met her, she knocked me off my feet. She was 100% Nigerian, born in America, raised in Nigeria. I met her studying in America. Chinwe experienced Biafra, a native of Umqueris. When I traveled to Nigeria, Chinwe was beside me. Chinwe spoke broken, some Yoruba and Igbo. Chinwe's state was Imo. Chinwe had a proud walk and a pretty smile as we would talk. We got married and life took us on a ride. We flew to Africa, sitting side by side. We traveled throughout Nigeria by car, bus, taxi, and air. Chinwe was with me. We lived in the city of Benin. Chinwe was my wife, and Chinwe was my queen. Falling sick while pursuing a PhD. When you left, you took a part of me. And that's dedicated to Chinwe Amechi Uzoma Johnson Red, 9/1952 to 5/31/85, written in early September 2000.
Absolutely beautiful, Reggie.
Beautiful,
Thank you,
beautiful.
man. Thank you. Feeva, you got that look on your face, girl. What's going on over there? You got questions? Are you okay?
No, no, I'm fine. It's just that I did. I'm glad that you picked it up. I did have a question for you.
Okay.
In regards to your book, have you thought about taking your books to San Francisco State because of their Black Studies department? Have you thought about that and approaching any of the professors there to see if that they could use that as curriculum? Have you thought about that?
Wow, that's a great idea. I do
That's
have the
me
book.
talking. I can't believe that.
That's a great idea. I do have the book of